Well, hi everyone. Long time coming on this baby. Another sunglass review. This time, Ben Affleck's Dolce & Gabbana DG2117 Gunmetal Aviators. Zack Snyder's Justice League. Here we go.
You work with me, you follow the rules. Rule number one, you give me everything you've got. Rule number two, then you give me more. And rule number three, I make the rules.
So I must admit, these sunglasses hold a very special place in my heart for many, many reasons. I've proclaimed, I think, a couple times on my Instagram and my YouTube, Ben Affleck is my favorite. He's my favorite Bruce Wayne and Batman. And, this is a place that celebrates every iteration for all their faults and positives and everything in between. So, proclaiming it now, he's my favorite. I like them all, but he's my favorite. But with that and him being my favorite, I was really deep into the release of the Snyder Cut and that film. I supported all the charity events, the shirts, the billboards, the hashtag events and everything, because I really wanted to see this Justice League, this true vision for Zack Snyder come to life, and for a story that I love so much and is important to so many people. If it was really close. It was close to a lot of people, and as you can probably see online, a lot of people hold those stories very, very close to their heart. And like I said, a lot of people have very special reasons for liking that film and their stories. Ben Affleck's Batman and Bruce Wayne holds a lot of very special, I guess, nostalgia, feelings, and importance to my life, successes I've had in my life, ways I've gotten through difficult times, using his sort of Batman as a, not emulation, but guideline, reference, or sort of mindset to get through things that is something I've actually spoken about. We can all adopt in particular ways for ourselves in hard times. But enough about that. It's about the sunglasses. So, sartorial Ben Affleck, Bruce Wayne items have been one of the most special, actually, journeys for me as a fan, as far as meeting people, interacting with companies, and the journey of finding it more than any other Batman. Maybe Val Kilmer's close. My sunglass review for those, that was really close. That was incredible. But Ben Affleck particularly, what comes through this is because a lot of isn't spoken about his style or showcase. There's some really good looks you can find of Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne. Of course, as Batman, that suit's awesome. No one can deny that. But he sort of sports a lot of very, I would say, old family wealth type of style looking as you'd expect from Bruce Wayne, as someone has been Batman and Bruce Wayne for, well, Bruce Wayne his whole life, Batman for 20 years, but he really walks around with that confidence and that style and look to him that just exudes as a successful businessman, I think, who doesn't take any shit, always does the right thing, and knows what he wants. He's very definitive, and that's one of my favorite things about it. And his way he dresses and his style helps showcase that a lot. Let me take these off now. We'll showcase them. I think that's enough of me wearing these inside. But my excitement seeing the Snyder Cut for the first time, I wake up just absolutely, just hearts racing because I can finally wake up and see this film. And I was almost sick to my stomach how excited I was. But watching it, being a fan of his Bruce Wayne and his Batman, any shot that came out of that movie, I was just in heaven watching it. So, as you can see, someone who has just proclaimed his absolutely obsession with Bruce Wayne style and clothing he can find and wear in the real world, the coolest Bruce Wayne shot of him getting off that helicopter. And if you pay attention, he steps off the helicopter before it lands, right? If you notice in the opening of BVS, when the Metropolis is under attack, he does the same thing. He actually hops off the helicopter before it lands, and he actually got in trouble for that with the stunt team for a dangerous sort of hazard because, they are obviously very sensitive and need to protect those actors. So as simple as that was, and it's not the most dangerous Tom level cruise stunt, that was actually a serious ordeal. So he's doing it again. I kind of wonder if he did get in trouble again for that, or maybe they just let it slide. But he's walking out of the helicopter. He hops off. He's walking to his private plane. He's got an awesome Mattress London blue heavyweight jacket that he wears in Iceland at the beginning when he goes and meets Aquaman. He's sporting some pants, some leather boots. The boots, I have tried my hardest and emailed so many people to try to find those boots. No luck. No luck so far. I'm still trying. But sunglasses. As you can tell, sunglasses are my personal favorite thing to collect when it comes to clothing. I have so many. So you have my obsession with Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne, his Batman, and sunglasses. A very awesome, badass pair of aviators as he's walking to meet Alfred after sort of just recruiting Aquaman, hopping onto his Bruce Wayne to go recruit more of the Justice League. Now, this scene, when it happened, I immediately was like, I need to find those sunglasses. I'm going to find those sunglasses no matter what it takes. But the hard thing about finding sunglasses in films that you can't see right at face value, some have particular logos or things right away. Tom Ford has a T. Those Purcells that I did for Pattinson have an arrow logo on them, so that helps a lot. Now it's just kind of identifying the model number. But for this, in that shot, you can't see much. You can see the color. You can see some little indents of the silver on the sunglasses. And over just the most obsessive look at figuring out that perfect frame where the lighting matches and his head tilts and everything to kind of maybe get a glimpse of a little bit of writing on that. I found that, but for the life of me, could not identify him for the longest time. But long story short on this, I didn't give up, but it kind of wavered for a little while. I kind of was like, well, maybe more will come out as the film comes out, especially looking through it, because at the time it was just streaming on HBO. So I'm like taking videos with my phone to try to analyze it. Like there was no clear shot that I could really get, to zoom in on my phone. But and this is going to sound a little off topic, but I have to tell the whole story. So around that time, I had kind of let it die down a bit. My work, I worked at a gym. I have worked primarily most of my career in some sort of fitness industry or health as a trainer, as a gym manager, and other things. And again, this is so random, but bear with me. We hosted a contest for me and the people I worked with who, to be honest, are very successful in the fitness community. They're some of the most popular influencers out there. And we hosted a contest for the summer. Everyone always wants to get in really good shape for the summer, leaned out, and look good, right? So this was our kind of fun way where we all collectively who worked at the gym and anyone wanted to join threw in, I think it was $100, and you had to hit a certain percentage of body fat in 6 or 7 weeks. And it was basically whoever got it got the money, right? Well, not as a promotion by any means, but I really dived into that because I was dealing with people who were very serious. And I knew that I had to kind of represent myself to not look like a fool. And I felt like kind of really showcase a little bit of work ethic, and that I can kind of show that I also can bust my ass if I need to. But despite the cash prize and the absolute absurd short time of length it was, because I think I tested around 16 or 17 at the time when we went and got our test at the hospital, I was determined. I used that Batman and Bruce Wayne mindset. I didn't look at any sort of oh man, that's so tough, that's so impossible, I just don't know if it's, I never even once put that in my mind, right? I use the mindset of Bruce Wayne and Batman, where when you are added an obstacle in your life, he never sits there and complains, he never sits there and questions the possibility or, oh, maybe it'll happen or I'll try, Batman always says, I will do it or it will happen. And that's the mindset I carried to it. But again, to kind of summarize this, besides the cash prize, in my head throughout those 6 weeks, I really kept these sunglasses kept going through my mind. I was like, you know what? Whatever it's going to take, if I win this, when I win this, I am going to get those sunglasses. That is going to be my personal sort of reward and way to remember this and remember the hard work. I'm going to find those sunglasses no matter what. Now, over time, and the 6 weeks ended, I did win. I won the competition, skin of my teeth. I'll admit it was not the healthiest way to do it, as most people who may watch this, 6 weeks to do that is very short, and I would never do it the way I did again. But as sort of a mental obstacle challenge and a lot of things, there were some benefits out of it, including these. Because funny enough, and if you, let me just say that if you Google these sunglasses, you may find a couple posts around the internet talking about, hey, does anybody know what these are? Does anybody know what they look like? I'm not saying more people have asked now than just me, but mine might be out there somewhere because I definitely asked the internet. And by sheer magic timing and thank you to the internet, someone, when I made one of the posts, I don't know how they did it or that keen eye, because there's talented people out there for sunglasses. They identified them. They identified the model number and everything just days after I won that. And I mean, my heart dropped, but not in a bad way, in a good way, because I was so excited. So what did I do? I immediately emailed Dolce & Gabbana. I was like, hey, does this look like this is the model? Does this seem like it adds up? What's kind of the deal? Just for some sort of verification. They emailed me and said, yes, that's a Dolce & Gabbana DG2117 model of aviators. Space. Unfortunately, those sunglasses are no longer in production. But that didn't stop me. By the power of eBay and various obsessive searching, they might not have sold them, but by God, someone on eBay was selling them. Now, I actually have 2 pairs of these. Fortunately enough, they don't go for a lot. I have 2 pairs of them. The first pair I went as immediately as I saw it. It was the same model, but if you can kind of see the silver around here, it's all gunmetal. These are the ones he uses in the film, and I'm going to talk about these lenses here because you might notice they're a little beat up. Bear with me. But his outer rim sides have the silver gunmetal lining on all of them and the roundness of this. So if you want the film accurate pair, that's it. Black on the frames and then gunmetal are on the outer side of the lenses in the frame here. But I immediately realized that they had the gunmetal. So fortunately, someone was selling another one, the actual film accurate pair of these. So these sunglasses don't actually go for a lot at the time because Dolce & Gabbana is a luxury brand. At the time, I would estimate these sunglasses were probably going for anywhere from $250, $300 to $500. But with, I would say, you know, for as far as the history of these sunglasses, it's not like they have a broad history of being the most iconic pair of aviators of all time. But they're the coolest because they're Bruce Wayne's. But I immediately purchased another pair and brought them down. And I've had these for quite some time. So I'll explain the lenses because they do need some TLC. And I'll explain that and kind of the goal behind that. And the box, this fortunately did come with the box and some other items, you know. So let me explain too, for anyone who might want to be looking for these sunglasses, buying them used, if you find a pair that's coming and it's completely original and beautiful shape and it says that it comes with the original packaging, great for you. But I would kind of, for most people, kind of just have a little bit of preparedness that with these being kind of as secretive as they are for a Bruce Wayne pair of sunglasses and as old as they are, you might get some that might need a little bit of work. It might not come with all the packaging, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think the most important part is just getting the sunglasses, and especially if you can nab one, because of how difficult it was to find these, because this was included in a shot of a film that was filmed in 14 and 15, was supposed to release in 2017, and then didn't actually release until 2021. There's quite a time gap of the style from those films that it's really kind of hard to track down and find everything. So if you can find a pair and you're really itching to buy it, I would do it. I would go send it and, worry about any problems later. But let's walk through the case first. Dolce and, oh my God, yeah, is that showing up right? Dolce and Gabbana. Pretty simple, blacked out case here. Nothing too, outlandish, but I actually like that in cases. There's a time and place for the theatrics, but when you're looking for something classy and style like Bruce Wayne would do, I think traditional is the best. The old ways are the best, I think, when it comes to Bruce Wayne. He really wears items that are timeless and classic. So when you pull this open, when you pull this baby open, again, to be fair, I don't know how much of this is original. I had a suspicion that this might not have been the actual case, but because it's been a minute since I've actually looked at this case. I've had the sunglasses, but it's been a minute. Comes with a, traditional, like every sunglass pair should have, a sunglass case. This is actually kind of different, which I actually kind of dig. There's a leather stitching on the side that says the name once again, but it kind of has a sporty look to the case, whereas, Tom Fords usually come in a cloth type of, not cloth, but velvety type of case that kind of makes it look very luxurious. Purcell and Ray-Ban both come in leather, snap little button cases that you might be familiar with. Simple case on the inside, nothing too crazy. It does add a zipper and everything. So if you can find one, getting a pair of important sunglasses and having that case is, come on, that's important. So digging deeper into this box, we do have standard, I don't know if these are actually manuals or what they are, but the standard kind of ordeal it gives you in different languages, with the Dolce & Gabbana in the front, and then Luxottica on the back, which, fun fact, is a mask company who, from what I understand, actually owns Ray-Ban, Purcell, and all these brands. They are like the overseer owner of all these brands that are owned by one very large company. Now, here's one item with the case that comes as well. It's just a sort of cloth cover to throw into the sunglasses, if you don't want to bring the case with you all the time. Says the name. Every company is going to have their name plastered everywhere. Just a simple, you can tighten it on the sides here. It's like a little bag, pretty nice to have. Here's one piece I think everyone appreciates to have with their sunglasses, is that the certificate of guarantee, basically showing, and I believe originally this is probably, it is filled out. It's just sort of in a different language because I bought this from out of the country. But it is a certificate. With the back, it says certificate of gratification, a couple different languages with the name. Everyone likes having those. Sometimes they're really decaled and cool looking. I have some Batman merchandise I'm going to do some reviews like this on that are all decked out in Pattinson's Batman gear, and you'll see what I'm talking about, but that's always cool. Little other, essentially, pamphlet identifying its certificate, and the cool little card cover that it comes with the certificate to kind of just show it. And I'm sure people are kind of wondering too about this, because every good sunglass pair, no matter what you buy, I would say any sunglasses you buy, should at least have the courtesy of coming with a cloth. Now, if you check this out, this actually isn't open. This is actually sealed with the logo, completely brand new. I was just about to open it for this video, and I just stopped myself. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. Well, I'm thinking about this. But on to the actual sunglasses, correct? Now, when you look with these, aviators are a very classic style. See, if you look at the shot from Ben, you can actually turn. You can see this. I thought for so long this was actually a diamond logo, but I could not make out what this writing was. And that was one of the big kind of, if I can find that out, we got it. But aviators are clearly a very classic look. But if you noticed, Ray-Bans are usually a little bit rounder. These have a very interesting sort of not completely round look to them that really emphasize that I think for people with big faces or big heads, it helps it out. It kind of, you know, everyone knows that certain sunglass types can change your face a little bit. I think for these work really well in that aspect. Now, let me explain the lenses, because there may have been a reason earlier on in this video. I may have expressed a certain passion for the fact that I think it's just okay that if you find the sunglasses and you can buy them and they're available to do it. And that is because I myself am a victim of said circumstances. These sunglasses came and I got them because they were film accurate. They were the ones that he wore and that I wanted. But that was one downfall of them, is that they need to be repaired. Now, fortunately, and I'm going to provide a link to this just in case anyone else buys these as well, there are replacement lenses for these. They're pretty easily cheap. I think they're about $30 to $35. I don't know if that's per lens or per pair, but they're really not that bad, and it is still a goal of mine to do, and I need to get it done so I can go wear these out in the wild. I would even say, no matter what the color, or if there's a little bit of a difference in them, these are well worth the sort of rarity and exclusivity as a Bruce Wayne and Batman fan to own. They're a really cool item. I think that it's kind of to celebrate, particularly my favorite, and the journey to get them. They are very important to me, and they have a very important sartorial importance to me as well for the character. But this is a not so short, showcase review of these sunglasses that I hope, if, found interest in them, a little bit of a journey of how I got them, how I found them, how they were identified, and sort of the difficulty sometimes to identifying these said sartorial items. But one more shot of them on the face. I think these are a pair you can dress up, you can dress down, you can wear them when you're suited and booted and fully kitted out, or really casual. These could be your coffee sunglasses too. Either way, but I think they're worth it. Dolce & Gabbana DG2117 Ben Affleck Bruce Wayne sunglasses. Until the next sunglass review, until the next watch review, until the next jacket review, Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne jacket, if you will. Until that, thank you to everyone for subscribing and this journey, and take care.